just what are some of those moments that stand out most to you?
Sheesh. The moments that stand out to me the most would be, I mean, this run that we had this year, last year, the run that we had. Uh, but what I'm most proud of is the relationships I've built these past 2 years I've been here. Being a transfer, you don't know what you're gonna walk into. But ever since I stepped foot on this campus, relationships have gone so smooth. There's been nothing but love, and the group of guys my teammates that I was looking forward to work with, have been nothing but dogs as far as coming and performing every day, wanting to get the extra work up, staying late, coming early. Just a group of guys have been just, I had an idea of what it was going to be, but, it really shocked me about, just the work ethic and the crew that the coaching staff recruits, and I give credit to them for finding good guys.
Jordan, with the way it started for you here at Miami, you personally, could you imagine if you eventually were able to do at and the team? Maybe look back on some of the struggles, adversity you faced.
Yeah, when I first got here, obviously it was very difficult. I remember during the exhibition game last year, I only took one shot, and obviously there's trials and tribulations with everything. But it was about any transfer, finding where you fit in the puzzle, and I didn't necessarily know. Luckily, I felt, I was a very versatile player. So whatever the team needed me to do, I was just going to be my role. Last year it was, cutting, offensive rebounding. But, as the years progressed and the relationships got better, I obviously got more comfortable. And I think, the beginning of this year was huge. I mean, Coach L had a very, very long conversation just about what the year would look like for me. We lost some big pieces from last year. And, he basically asked me to step up, and I felt like I did a good job with that this year.
Have you been approached by, obviously the list of, Coach L said there's probably 1,300 players interested in Miami now, with you guys being in an Elite Eight, Final Four, all the people looking to transfer. Have people reached out to you, as someone who did transfer here, and what kind of advice are you giving some of those people that are looking to transfer here?
Yeah, even last year I had, players that I played against, reach out to me and be like, yeah, I'm interested in Miami. And I'm like, I'm not LeBron, I can't recruit, what I'm saying? But no, on a serious note, all I can do at the end of the day is, vouch about the coaching staff and for the players. People are definitely a lot more interested in Miami, at least from the player side that I see. They see what Coach L is building here, and the success that we had, and everybody kind of wants a piece of that.
Jordan, less of a Miami-related question, just more so as you as a former transfer. Just you mentioned those early struggles that you had. What would be your advice that you would give to transfers who are at these new schools? Just what advice would you give them in their new situations?
Yeah, my advice would be, it's a good question. Just stay persistent. At the end of the day, trust your work. It's about being positive. It's hard to get into a new. I understand the difficulty of getting into a new system, but at the end of the day, you love basketball, and hard work is always going to prevail. So regardless of how games go, how you want them to go for yourself personally, it's just about staying persistent and consistent so you can get past that hump. Because if you just give up on yourself, then you're never going to get out those hard times.
Can you give your sort of scouting report of next year's University of Miami basketball team? You're good at sort of reviewing, how do you think this team will, it's hard to know how they'll do because you don't know still a couple of the pieces coming, but of the players coming back, what do you see for next year's season for the Hurricanes?
Yeah, obviously, the transfer board is crazy, but in a perfect world, everyone comes back. I see this team being a contender for a national championship. You know, picking up, not that they need it, but, you know, maybe getting some key transfers from the transfer portal, just to, you know, because who knows who's leaving or whatever. But, you know, the core of this group is young, they're hungry, they're electric, you know, all words we've all used to describe the team this season. And again, you know, it comes back to like that work ethic thing. I know that these guys, you know, will always leave it all on the floor. And I don't see anyone, because you know how I felt last year after the Elite Eight, and this year we made it farther. And knowing the guys, I know they're going to be hungry to, you know, get past that and win a national championship. So, you know, I see this team being very, very, very good. You know, obviously the media always has their preseason ranks or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, the teams did a good job of ignoring those, not caring. But, you know, from what I've seen, been around in the coaching staff, I see this group just, you know, taking this season to another level.
You guys have actually had, they're ranked like 2 and 3 and 5 in some of those pre-season polls, so it seems like Miami might get some
Love.
love at the beginning of the season this year.
Jordan, can you just take us through the emotion of making the social media announcement that, you know, you're officially leaving Miami, and then just kind of take us through the next steps of your career preparing to go pro?
Yeah, the main thing I wanted to express was the love, and the thankfulness. I wanted to say thank you to everyone in Miami, George Mason too, because I was there for 3 years of my career. Obviously, everyone knew I had no more eligibility. I mean, there were some people that didn't, but you know, I wanted to express my gratitude to the fans, to the coaches for making my collegiate career, you know, something to remember. Obviously, I want to play professionally. I want to play in the NBA, but that's a lot of work that needs to get done to get there, and I know that. I always love the grind, so that's not an issue for me. But again, you know, I wanted to keep everyone in the loop, and I felt like something had to be said, especially after these 2 years here, you know, to kind of just finalize in my college career.
What do you think you need to work on? Have you talked to some people who are NBA type people who have
Yeah.
told you what's kind of the scouting report on you heading into the NBA draft?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is I just need to show them that I can shoot the 3-ball consistently. I don't mind. I mean, my numbers were up from last year. I still believe I'm a better shooter than I was, than my numbers shown. But, you know, each year, what people don't understand is, you know, each year, regardless of who you are, and there's those outliers, but your team only needs you to do certain things, you know what I mean? And we got Nigel Pack, who's shooting 40%. Zay was shooting 40% this season, I believe. Wooga, I mean, at the end of the year, man couldn't miss. And so, you know, Coach always talks about there needing to be a balance between outside shots and inside shots. And so, you know, me and Norchad were really the only, I mean, we'd have drives sometimes, but we were really the only ones to shoot, you know, majority of the twos, and there needs to be balance in the offense. So to answer your question, it's 3-point shooting consistently. Am I worried? No. But, you just got to get there and show them you can do it, and that's what matters most.
Jordan, just I guess to follow up on that question, just what are the things that you can offer NBA teams and professional teams right now? Just what capabilities do you think you bring to the table?
Yeah, you know, I feel like I'm a versatile player, so I can adapt to whatever a team needs. I know being in the NBA is about, you know, knowing your role, and me not being limited to whatever a specific role. I feel like, you know, whatever role they need me to do, I feel like I can do it, I can master it. Also, I mean, with NBA teams, you know, some guy, they worry about, you know, when you get there, or how are you going to react if things don't go your way. I mean, beginning of my career at George Mason, where I was redshirting, and then got taken out of it, and then beginning of my career here, where I was struggling. You know, I get through hard times. I'm a very resilient person. I love the challenges. I feel like, you know, challenges are what make people. So it's just someone who's going to come every day, give it 100%, and never stop until he reaches the place that he wants to be.
And I also want to ask about Christian Watson, just what you saw from him throughout practice this year and how excited you are for his development moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, man, all the freshmen. But, you know, Chris in particular, he can really score the ball. Obviously, there's some kinks that needs to get worked out, but he was a freshman, you know, and a lot of that is going to get real scary when the game just slows down for him. Again, you know, he didn't get a lot of court burn this year, very little. So, you know, next year with actual getting game minutes, whenever he starts to feel comfortable, you know, I think you guys are going to see a very, very, very high octane scorer. You know, he has the size, he has the length. I think this offseason is a very big offseason for him. I always feel like that freshman and sophomore year offseason is very important, and how he chooses to work this offseason, which I have no doubt he's going to put the work in. I think will be the deciding factor on how he does next year.
Anything else for Jordan? All right, thanks, Jordan.
Thank you.